Okay, so this is the exact game plan that I would use if I was starting over as a real estate agent again in 2025, brand new, no experience. This is how I would do it. I've been in real estate for the past 10 years now. I'm also a team leader and I've been full-time for the past 10 years. So hopefully these tips help you grow your business. Before we dive into it, I do want to tell you about our accelerator. It's the Agent Accelerator. It's over on School. I just started it. You can go in there, ask questions. I pop in there from time to time, answer questions for you, and try to help you grow your business. It's entirely free, so make sure you check that out. There's also a classroom and some tools and things you can use to grow your business. So click the link down below and I'll see you in there. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about new agent success in 2025 and what I would do if I was starting over again. So you might be wondering, what is this? Well, this is the business funnel. And I'm going to show you how to bring things into this and so they come out the other end as commissions. At the end of the day, as a full-time agent, you need to make sure that you're consistently getting sales coming out of the bottom of this funnel. That's the name of the game. But how do you actually do that? So I'm going to break this down for you step by step so you can implement this into your business right away. First things first, we have the top of the funnel. Think of it like a funnel that you pour gasoline in. Say you're filling up your lawnmower or your weed whacker. You're putting things into the top of that funnel. Well, in real estate, what you're doing is you're putting leads into the top of that funnel. And essentially that's the very top. So you're getting your leads right here. So that's what this is. Now, the next step in that process is to call the leads, to nurture the leads, to have conversations, whether those leads are people you know, people that you don't know, leads that you're paying for, leads that you're calling to get listings that I covered in previous videos. But that's what you're doing here, is you're trying to fill this funnel with as many leads as possible. Once you have your leads and you have enough leads, then you want to move to the next step. But let me talk to you about getting enough leads. You might be wondering, like, where do I get these leads? Who do I talk to? Who should I spend my time on? Well, it really depends what your goal is. But as a new agent, I would focus on these main lead sources. So the first one is going to be SOI. That's your sphere of influence. That's everybody that you know. Think of your friends, your family, any professionals that you know, anybody that you may have worked with. Like if you have a couple sales under your belt already as a real estate agent, you want to make sure they're in your sphere of influence and you want to continually market to them because they already know, like, and trust you, and the chances of them sending somebody new to you is very high. So make sure you start with your sphere of influence and then build everything else around it. The next lead source that I would focus on right away would be the expired listing leads. So expired leads are a great lead source because these leads are people that wanted to sell, especially the old expireds. They want to sell, they want to move, or at least they did want to move, and they haven't for whatever reason. And they might have listed their house 2 or 3 years ago, and now they might be interested in doing it again. So if you call them and build a relationship, chances are they'll work with you because the last time they listed their house, it didn't work out for whatever reason. So the way to get expired leads is through a couple different services. You can look them up manually if you want to bootstrap it and not spend any money, which is totally fine. It just will take you a lot more time and you'll probably get a lot less done. Or you can go to a service like REDX and you can just export all the old expireds. I recommend going 3 to 5 years back. So we'll do 3 to 5 years. It's actually not writing that hard, but you want to go 3 to 5 years back. And essentially you're looking for people that have equity now. Because think about it. If you decided to list your home 3 years ago and it was worth $300,000, well, today it might be worth $450,000 or $500,000. So when you call them and have that conversation, they'll probably be happy to hear from you and it might spark some interest to potentially list their home. So this can be a great lead source to get going with, and it really doesn't cost that much. It's a great way to get your business going. And if you want to check out REDX, if you want to learn a little bit more about it, there is an affiliate link down in the description below where you'll get different discounts and sales because I'm an affiliate of REDX, and they actually give my subscribers different deals and discounts. So make sure to check that out if you're interested in REDX. Now, the next lead source that I would do is absentee owner leads. Now, this lead source is good because they're people that have properties that are probably worth quite a bit of money, but they might not be using them. As the name sounds, they're just people that have houses that don't live in them, or it's an extra house, or maybe they're renting it out here and there, but they're people that have extra homes. And if you talk to them and have a good conversation and build a relationship, they might be interested in selling that home, especially with the market being so high. One of the biggest objections you're going to have to face, especially in this market, is that I don't want to sell because they have nowhere to go because the rate's going to be double and the price is going to be the same for a home that's not as good. But with this lead source, you're not dealing with any of that because they already have a home. This is an extra home and they might be interested in selling it. So definitely use that lead source as well. The last lead source that I want to touch upon with this kind of lead, well, I got two lead sources that I want to go through. One of them is for rent by owner. So that's called the FRBO lead. These are people that are trying to rent their properties out, but you call them and with my specific script, you can have good conversations with them and they might want to sell. And if they don't want to sell, they're probably going to want to be on your investor list, which you can stay in touch and build that relationship and hopefully sell them a good deal. Or they just won't want to be bothered and that's okay. And then you just move on to the next one. But check my script out. It's in the link down below. You can get a whole copy of my script book that we use to call leads and talk to people on the phone and have good conversations. So make sure to check that out. But the for rent by owner lead is a tremendous way to get going. And it usually ends up being a good conversation. So I'm actually going to link to a video right here. You'll find that below as well. And that video right here is actually a complete video of me calling for rent by owners. And I actually set 4 good follow-up calls and built some good relationships just with that one session of calling. So it does work well. If you want to get for rent by owner leads, you can go on different websites like Zillow, differenthomes.com, HotPads, people that just are out there putting their rentals up for rent. But you can also get it through a service like REDX. That's where I get them from because I don't want to go through and deal with like checking all the numbers and scraping all the websites. It's just a lot of time and it just isn't worth it for the amount of money that I pay for REDX to get those leads pulled and into my database. So that's where I get them. But if you want to start slow, then you can just go to the different websites and try to dig around and find the numbers. Totally works, totally okay. Just make sure you check the do not call list and stay compliant there because you can get fined and that's not good. REDX also checks the do not call list for me, which is a good thing that I like. But again, if you want to bootstrap this, totally go to those websites, look around, dig around, find the numbers, totally works. So that's the other lead source. And then I got one more lead source. Now, I want to set the expectation with this lead source because you could waste a lot of time and you could spend a lot of time spinning your wheels before you find success. But it's a great pipeline builder and it's really going to fill you up with these cold, hot, and warm leads, which is the next step of this process. That is going to be the circle prospecting leads. These are basically leads that you can go pull on REDX. You can pull a whole map of an area and then dial all around the neighborhood and basically talk to people in the neighborhoods that you want to sell in or where there's a just listed or just sold. It's a very simple script. A lot of the people that you talk to probably won't be interested. It's kind of like finding a needle in a haystack. But the good news is there's not much competition. And you get to pick the area that you want to work in. That's the best thing about it. If you want to go sell $1 million homes, find a just listed house in a $1 million neighborhood and start calling that. As long as you disclose that it's not your listing and you be totally transparent, it's totally okay. You're just giving them news, you're trying to build a relationship, and you're building your pipeline up, right? That's the whole point of this. So definitely don't sleep on circle prospecting leads. I just want to give you a realistic expectation of what to expect. And it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of energy and a lot of effort. To give you an example, I had a circle prospecting lead that I've been working with for the past 6 months now. And he's just finally going to be listing next month. But it took 6 months of follow-up, lead nurture, and really having him here in this part of the pipeline. So I want you to be realistic about it, but it's a great way to build your business. It just takes time. So that's another one you can add here, which is circle prospecting. Now, I have a couple other lead sources that I don't want to spend a ton of time on. You have pay per close leads. These are different websites that you can go to. You can sign up for them. They give you leads. When you close the leads, they take a big referral fee and you pay at the end, which is good for your cash flow. It does end up costing more in most cases, but if you're just starting out, you don't have a lot of money to invest, I would go there. The next step up from that is going to be things like Facebook and Google leads. Those leads are going to cost you more money, but they work well as long as you follow up and you have a good system. But I wouldn't start there, especially if you have a small budget. It can cost you a lot. Like, for example, right now, we're spending like $1,600 a month on Google and Facebook leads for our real estate team. It takes money to make money with that kind of lead source, and it's really a volume game. Out of 100 leads, you might get 1 or 2 closings, just to give you a rough idea. 2 closings would be good. You're probably going to get 1 closing. And that's if you do everything right, if you follow up the right way, if you have the right amount of touches, if you have the right amount of emails, if you're nurturing the leads and doing everything right. The next lead source up from there is going to be something like a Zillow lead, which is extremely expensive. It's a very tough way to scale your business. I used to do it back in the day. when I first started real estate, and it was a good lead source, but it's extremely expensive and it's very hard to scale your business with it today, in my opinion, if you want to grow big, because to do it, you're gonna have to spend a lot of money. And if you're just starting out, you might not have that money to invest to see the results that you want to see. So that's the lead flow system, more or less. There are many more lead sources you can dive into, but I just wanted to give you a broad overview. That's what's going here. The next step is going to be your follow-up process. So once you screen through those leads, you start building relationships, you're going to put them in cold, warm, or hot. Okay? That's the main thing. You want to see where they land, cold, warm, hot, and then you want to start building that relationship from there. From there, your goal is to set appointments. Set as many appointments as possible. You want to set listing appointments, you want to set buyer consultations, and again, this is something that I want to show you more in the future about. Go to the Agent Accelerator Academy. I have some more stuff in there about how to do buyer consults and things like that. But it's important to start setting appointments, because until you get face-to-face with them or until you have a consultation, it really doesn't matter, okay? The more appointments you get, the more sales you're going to get. From there, they become clients. Once they become clients, now you're doing the job. You're showing their house, you're marketing their house, they're on the market, they're out there with you looking at houses. You're doing all the servicing that goes along with being an agent. After that, out of all those clients, you're going to start getting sales. This is where you want to be. Your sales are going to start happening. Sales are going to start coming. You're going to start making money. And that's how this entire pipeline works. You start here, you do all the hard work, you do the follow-up, which is more hard work, but it's less hard work because they already know, like you, and trust you. Then you have your appointments. You got to crush it on those appointments or you're going to lose people. That's another big point. You got to be professional and you got to know what you're doing. The next thing is your clients, and then you get sales. So I hope this video helped you out. If it did, definitely check out the new Agent Accelerator. Thanks again for tuning in. Have a good one.